Okay, so here we are. I have my dogs around, so you might hear them making noise in the background, shaking a little bit. We want to look at Project 2, and so I go here and say, click on Project 2 so I can see it. And of course, I've read through it already. You should do that. It just gives some background here. Now, the main reason for the two papers here that are mentioned is just to show you that people really do this and they publish papers on it. So this is real stuff. This is real math that we're doing. Real in the sense of being applied, people getting paid for it, those kinds of things. So that's why they're there. The two papers are linked right here and here, but that's mostly you can go see to see that they really exist. And again, we're doing things that people really do accomplish in order to solve problems. Okay, so we want to create a proportional model here, and so I've read through it once, and so I see we're using Google Maps. We're trying to make a proportional model, T equals KD or T equals MD. Really doesn't matter whether you use a K or an M, or for that matter a P or a W or a Greek letter zeta or something. But the idea is that we're having one quantity and it's some sort of multiple of another quantity. Okay, so T equals KD. That's the model we're going after. We have various driving times and minutes and bus minutes and bicycle miles. I guess I said driving time, driving distance and time, bus time, bicycle miles and bicycle time. Now I put the bicycle miles in because they, as you look across, sometimes they're the same, but sometimes they're different. Sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter, and in particular, if you look at this row, it's 9.3 miles by car, but only 5.9 by bicycle, and so I thought I'd put those in first, but maybe in the long run you're actually interested in the driving miles because you're more likely to be able to get that. But at any rate, I've got three modes of transportation: driving, bus, and bike, and so a little background. But then okay, so it says open a new Desmos calculator, sign in. Okay, so if I go here, click on Desmos, here's my Desmos calculator. It automatically signed me in because I keep doing it, and it asked me if I wanted to remember, and I said sure. Now I'm going to go here again to make that a little brighter to see it better and all that. So there's my Desmos graph as it asks, ready to go. Now I have two ways of adding data. Okay, and I'm actually going to go down to the second way first here, and I'm not going to quite do it that way, but just to show you, I can go to Desmos. I can click here and say I want to add a table, in which case I can start adding numbers in there, and I can change these labels. I could say that's a T, and whoops, wrong thing, that's a D, and that's a T. Okay, and then I can just start entering data from this table up here. Where is it? There we go. The miles and the minutes. Okay, I don't want to do that. That takes too long and so forth. And so I'm going to get rid of that. And what I've done is it says here, hey, you can go open this file that's shown here, and when you open that file, you'll get all the data, and you can just copy and paste the data, is what all this is saying. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to, my dog's nuzzling me here, and it says open in my spreadsheet. Yours will probably ask if you want to open it in Excel. You could also, if you want, you can open it in Google Sheets, I guess, and but some spreadsheet. And I say okay, and there it is. It says edit document, so I'll say sure. And so what I have is, so I've got the location for where the distances were taken from, and then all these different modes. Now this has, so here's drive miles, here's drive miles, here's bicycle miles, here's drive miles again, and we'll see in a little bit why I did drive miles so many times. This is just to make your life easier. That's what I live for, kinda actually. All I need to do is highlight here just the numbers and copy. Now here I could just say copy like that. I could do a right click and then say copy. I could also do the Control and C. Hold down the Control key, hit the C key for copy. And then once I do that, I simply go back to Desmos. I click in here, and then I paste. But the problem is, see, if I right click, I can't paste. So you can't paste that way. You have to use the keys, and so it's the Control key and V, and there it pastes it in. And there's all my data, and it was that simple. And then I go ahead and I change my column heading to D for distance, and uppercase T for time. Now the reason you use an uppercase T is Desmos gets really confused if you use a lowercase t, just because it expects certain stuff. So there we go. And so I've got my data in. So there, I've gotten through, here's method 2 for adding the data, and I get all that in. And so now that we have our data entered, I'm down here to task 1.9, and if you notice, this picture looks a little better than, say, that picture. Okay, the data are more spread out. I'm zoomed in better, and there's not all this extra space around here. So in task 1.9, I'm just asking you to try to do that a little better. And so what I can do, I can come here, I can grab this thing on the edge there. I can make it skinnier or wider depending on what I want to do. Oops, I was zooming in and out, not meaning to. You can actually, if you need to, you can actually go up here and hide that whole thing. Generally, I don't feel a need to, because I'd like to have the information over there. Now, so to sit this better, well, I kind of like to see the origin, the 0, 0. Helps me see where the data are a little better. Sometimes you don't want to do that, but generally speaking, if I can put the origin in, I do. And so I do that, and now I can still see my numbers quite well on the axes. And then if I hold the pointer over the 0, 0 and scroll in with the mouse, I can zoom in nicely this way, and it doesn't move around. Now if I come out here and I do the same sort of thing. Notice how the axes are moving away from there. It's because it zooms in. The center of your zoom in and out is wherever your pointer is, or your mouse. You happen to have your mouse. And so I'll put it back there again and zoom in like that. But you could zoom in and pan and move things over and so forth wherever you want. And so I get it about like that. And I do believe I forgot, or no, this is the first place. It says now take a screenshot of your data, that first set of data. And okay, so again, to do my screenshot, I'm going to do my control print screen. And I've already, down here, I've opened a document, project 2. I haven't typed anything yet. And again, I can do my paste. And there it is. And, you know, like I did before, I can crop it. So on this one, where's crop? There's crop on that one. And you know, I can bring it in so it still shows me signed in. So there, I've got that much, so I'm done cropping. So I'll just click outside of that, and if I click on it again, I can grab that and make it whatever size I want to make it. So, you know, there I've added my picture. Now, of course, I've got my picture there for posterity, I guess. But you know, so I've got my screenshot that it asked for, and I go back here. So it said, and it says, oh, now's a good time to save my work. And so yeah, Math 103 P2 drive, drive for drive times and distances. Sure, that sounds good. You know, so I can go here and say save. We did this before, Math 103, and of course it tells me other stuff I have, and so project 2 and drive, and so I save that. So now I can go get it anytime. You know, if I click here, I can find it. There it is, and I can bring it back if I have closed down and need to bring it back. Okay, so I have that. Now we want to enter this model, T equals KD, but in Desmos, you're probably not going to want to do the T equals KD. You're probably going to want to do Y equal KX. It will get much less confused if you do that. So just like I show here, you know, I just go down here to the bottom and I say Y equals KX, and it says add a slider, because see, it doesn't know what K is. It knows what Y and X mean. And so I come down and I scroll down a little bit, and there's my K. And so what I want to do is just position that K so that I get the best model I can. So that line kind of goes through there. So that looks pretty good somewhere in there. Now notice it's kind of jumping from, it's going by 0.2 or something. So suppose I want to try 0.1. You know, one thing I can do is I can just type it in there and say 0.1. The other thing is, well, I know I don't want a negative slope. I can go in here and change these. I can say, let's make that 0. And since I could still leave it at 10. But now you see it changes much better. You know, and suppose I think 2.1 is the place that seems to split it the best. You know, it's hard to say with these data, because, you know, these data up here, boy, those are all in a beautiful, nice line. And, you know, they look like they sort of belong together, versus these don't belong together as much. Well, that could be a whole study in itself, but here are all our data. And, I don't want to go through like that. If it was only those data, only these data, sure, I'd probably want a model line that goes through like that. If it was only these data up here, if it were only those, I'd probably, get something, probably not quite like that, maybe 2.9-ish. Well, and so if you have trouble, just type it in, 2.9. Oh, that looks pretty good. And, and if I thought it was, well, it's actually 2.95, I can type that in. It doesn't care. But again, I think something more like, 2.1, 2.15, 2.2, somewhere in there looks like the best model. So here I've got that model showing. So there I've got my data and my model. And again, the data, it's not extremely accurate in that the data are kind of all way off the model line here. But it certainly does give the sense of the data. And, so that's pretty good. And this says, okay, so once I've done that, and I've played with it, so there it shows me first adding the model and the slider K, and then I put it up to 10 just to, oh, that's too much, and so I need something between 1 and 10 it looked like, and I decided on 2.1, and so I'm having you all just use 2.1. 2.2 might have been better, but we'll go with 2.1. Certainly 4 is bad, 1 was bad, that kind of thing. So, and then it says make a note of this because you're going to put it in your report. Save your graph. Oh yeah, so I've done some work. Maybe I should save. And then take a screenshot and do that. Okay, so screenshot, and so once again I come here, I do my control print screen. There I took my screenshot, I would go here, come down, and I'm not sure where I am here. Oh, there I am. And give it a few lines, and then control V as a paste. And once again I can crop and so forth. I won't go into that at this point anymore. Okay, and so I've done that. Then it says our model predicts. So yeah, once I have the model with this 2.1 for the slope or the constant of proportionality, I can make predictions, and I can do that. I can calculate them very easily in here, right? I can. Now I didn't set this up as a function like an f of x. If I want, I guess I could do something like that. I could say t of, and I could use, and now, right now, I think it's going to be unhappy with that because I used t up here. We'll see. Let's use t of d. Oh, see, it says 20 element, it doesn't know what's going on, right? So that's a problem. Okay, and that's one issue with Desmos. So I'll just do a generic sort of f of x is equal to kx, like that. And it's very happy with that. Now, if I ask, what's f of 1? I get 2.1, just like I should, because what it did was it took 2.1 times 1. If I want f of 1.5, I get 3.15, just like I said back here, because 2.1 times 1.5 is 3.15. And to see it another way, you could simply take your k, because you already found that, and then times 1.5. Ooh, no, that didn't work. It made the 1 so if I do a space and then 1.5, worked just fine. And now it says, oh, okay, evaluate your model for 2. Oh, okay, 4.2. So if it's 2 miles, I should assume 4.2 minutes. K times 3, 6.3 minutes. And K times 4, 8.4 minutes. And similarly, I could have used my function notation stuff and done f of 2, gotten 4.2 that way. So I did it somehow or other. Order doesn't matter. I could have done 2 times k. It's just that the model is k times x, so I did it that way. But 2 times k, I get 4.2. And so then I would include those predictions. So 2 miles, I predict 4.2 minutes. 3 miles, I predict 6.3 minutes. 4 miles, I predict 8.4 minutes. And so that is what task 119 is having you do, because what good is a model if you don't use it? Okay, so we're using it to predict those times. Now then, in 1.4, it asks us to do the same sort of thing with the other modes of transportation. And so it says open up a new Desmos file and do drive miles and bus time. So I'll copy that. I need a new Desmos, so I'm going to go here and Desmos calculator. There it is. I'm signed in. Again, in here I'll do a control key plus the V as in very nice. And there my data for drive time and bus. And again, I can make this one display a little brighter and bigger. I can, again, sort of squeeze this down. Again, I can kind of go up with that so it fills up the space a little better. And I go to my y equals kx, add the slider, and there it is. And as I slide this up and down, I can decide on what I think is the best answer. And again, if I don't, if I'm having trouble using the slider because these are way off, well, I can see right now it needs to be at least 3, and I'm sure no more than 8 or so. And I can check that by just going up to 8. Yeah, probably not 8. It's probably something less than 8. And so I just kind of play with this till I think I have it. And that one then would be done. I would do my screenshot that it asked for. So it says create your table, change the columns, or no, those are where you get them from, columns D and E. Yeah, and add the proportional model with the slider K, get a nice picture like that. Now here, see, I've hidden my answer, so you can decide on what you think your best answer is. Again, save it, make a note of your model, take a screenshot, and predict again. Okay, so we do those same things again, and we get that all taken care of, and so now I'm just gonna since I'm gonna always have that y equal kx, now what I should do is make a new Desmos, but I'm just gonna close that out and add slider there. Okay, so I've still got that line, and so I should have saved that one, opened up a new one, and so forth, but I'm just kind of showing you the idea here. The next one says do bicycle miles and bicycle time. So again, I copy that. I go to my new Desmos, I should have, and paste, Control V, and there my day, oh, those are nice, right? And as I, whoops, I don't know what just happened. As I go up through there, I should get a very nice line with that one. And so bicycle time and distance looks really good. Bicycle distance, bicycle time. And then again, you'll do it one more time. It says so bike time is a function of bike miles, but now also do it as bike time as a function of drive miles, since probably, if you're really doing this, you might not be able to get the bike miles. You might be stuck, using, there we go, the drive miles. And so I have that one in columns H and I. Whoops, got too many there. And I copy that. And I go back to my Desmos. And this should be a new one that I would come in and Control V and paste. And there they are. And again, I would add my Y equal KX. And again, I did something silly when I didn't it. But, I go up there and slide that through and try to find a good answer for that. And again, if I'm having trouble using the slider and I don't want to just keep typing stuff in, I can always narrow down my slider, 2 to 8 again. And I can just check, is 8 big enough? Oh yeah, 8's plenty big because it's too high there. And it just makes it easier to do my slider in there. Okay, and I think that's it. Of course, then you need to look at the required items. Make sure you put all these things in. Just go through it kind of as an outline. Again, don't put in your report, don't write item 2.9. That makes no sense to someone who hasn't read the description and so forth. You're thinking about writing a report like you did some research and you're telling someone else about it. And so, but you can break things up into, sections like bike time, bike distance, bike time, drive distance, that kind of thing. And, summary. And so you can always put labels on like that to help me find things. And to help any reader who looks at it. But make sure you go through and have each of those pieces. The rubric 20 points are that you have the required items and so forth. So I start taking off points as things are missing. And then make sure you try to make it look good. Again, hey, my stuff may not be the prettiest in the world, but I think it's okay. As you look at what I give you to read, I think it's pretty readable. And for the most part, I try to, I go through, I use spell check and all that. Of course, if I use red READ or red RED, it might not catch that. But I try to proofread and so forth. I try to give you a good product. You try to give me a good product. Okay? Make it look good. Put some, captions on your figures and figure numbers and tables and all that so a person who's reading it can find stuff. Be professional about your writing. And there we go. I think that'll do it for this video.